Hey, it's Frank Baker here with Casual Cosplay 101, and today we're going to talk about how I made a visor for this guy. So this visor was really kind of a three-part process to get the visor fitted. The first part was obviously we need the shape. So I took some cardboard and cut it down so it would fit and wedged it in there, traced out the actual visor shape. And then when I went back and cut it out, I left myself about a 1/2 inch. So this is about a 1/2 inch bigger than my original tracing. Gives me enough room to attach it to the inside of the helmet. Second part, second step, was obviously finding the bend radius. For this, it was a little bit of troubleshooting, a little bit of math. I laid a straight edge across the top and measured down to the middle to see what the offset was, and kind of redrew that on a piece of cardboard, and then kept cutting until I got something that I was pretty happy with. It fit pretty close, had the correct angle, and from that went on to step 3, which was actually bending the plexiglass. Now this has already been bent, so I'll show you how I bent that. I took, once I had the right angle, take a piece of wood. In this case, all I had was this little piece of scrap wood, and you trace it and then cut it out, saving both pieces. That allows you to actually put your plexiglass in there. It's pretty pliable, so it bends pretty easy. And you want to kind of line it up to the center of the nose piece. Make sure you have about the same amount of overlap on both sides. And I took my vise, my hand clamps, and clamped it down super tight. And then I took my heat gun and heated it up, and then let it cool down, and then heated it up again. Did that about 3 times over the course of a couple of hours. And then I let it cool for about 24 hours. When I took it out, had this nice little bend, which again, it's got some flexibility in the plexiglass, so it actually will fit in pretty nice. So there were the 3 steps to actually get the visor. Step 4, we're going to step over to the paint booth, and I'll show you how I tinted it. So I'm sure by now someone is saying, wait a minute, you're tinting this visor and you're taking it to a paint booth. What's going on? So honestly, I tried to use automotive window film on it, and either because of the curvature of the glass or maybe some irregularities, I could never get it to stick without bubbles. Every time I applied it, I got some horrible bubbling. So I started looking for an alternative, and I ran across this stuff made by Tamiya. It's pick it up at any modeling hobby store. This one's called Smoke, so you can tell by the cap it's actually kind of transparent. The more coats you add, the darker it'll get. The nice thing is it coats pretty evenly. You do want to heat this up, make sure it's nice and warm. It'll spray better if it's warm, and you also want to make sure you shake it really well. Now for this, it's going to take probably 3, maybe 4 very light applications. So I'm going to apply the first application, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product after the 4th application. They say, I think it's 15 to 30 minutes between coats. You could probably wait longer if you need to, but let's go ahead and get this first coat on. Again, you're doing super light. It's not really going to change the color all that much. Normally with spray paint, you want to start spraying off and then drag it across. You don't want to start spraying directly on the object you're spraying. So that's the first coat. I'm going to let that sit and dry. I'll put a couple other coats on, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so here we are after 4 coats, and I'm just holding it in. It's not actually mounted in there, but you can see, people are going to say, oh, you can see right through it. It's not dark enough. But once you take the backlight out, once you stop it from being lit from behind, you can see that there's plenty dark that you won't be able to see into it, and it's not so dark that when you put it on you won't be able to actually see. So it's a pretty functional tent job. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below.